Hi, my name is Dr. Justin McCormick, and I am the Clinic Director of the Chronic Pain Center in Mill Creek, Washington. Over the last 10 years, I've performed thousands of treatments on patients with fibromyalgia who now have their life back. I've studied intensively with Dr. Michael Johnson, who's one of the leading neurologists on fibromyalgia, both the diagnosis and the treatment of. I'm one of less than about 900 doctors across the country who specialize in a new breakthrough technology called brain-based therapy. And I'm going to talk about that with you guys in just a few moments. Every single day in my office, people walk in who have been told that their illness is just all in their head, or it's just something they're going to have to learn to live with. Or maybe even the only thing that they can do about the pain is just cover it or mask it with drugs and medications. I see people who have had their lives put on hold because of the intense pain and fatigue that they go through every single day. They can't work, they can't play with their kids. You know, a lot of them, they can't even maintain a good relationship with their spouse because of the constant ongoing pain. They sit in front of me and they talk about these headaches that are all the time and the pain that's all over the body, and they'll say it's 24/7, it's all the time, and it's even getting worse. They'll talk about pain into the arms, pain into the legs, and they just say they can't do the things that they want to anymore. And I really understand how frustrating that is. So first, let's talk today about what is the cause of fibromyalgia, and then we'll talk a little bit about what brain-based therapy is. So the cause of fibromyalgia, in every study that I've looked at, there's some form of stress that causes the fibromyalgia. Now that stress might be a physical stress, such as maybe they were in a car accident, or maybe they were in a work injury, or maybe they had this really bad slip or fall. But that's called the physical stress. It could have been a chemical stress. Maybe they reacted badly to drugs or medications. Maybe they're on a horrible diet. Maybe they're a smoker all their life or something like that. That would be a chemical stress. Or many times it's an emotional stress. Maybe they have a history of abuse or violence or neglect. But whatever the stress was, the studies have shown that the body puts out a chemical that we call cortisol. Now, the significance of cortisol is that in overabundant amounts, like with people with fibromyalgia, the brain actually begins to toxify. It means it actually breaks down areas like the cerebellum, the back part of the brain, or the midbrain. As that happens, the brain starts to misfire. Okay, it stops functioning like it should. It starts to become foggy. And what happens is an area in the center of the brain, we call it the midbrain or the mesencephalon, starts to overfire. And this overfiring midbrain or mesencephalon is the stem of all the symptoms of fibromyalgia. The pain all over the body, the inability to sleep, the fibrofog, the headaches, the flu-like symptoms over the body, all these can be connected to an overactive midbrain. So that's the causes of fibromyalgia. Now, let's talk about how do we correct this problem, okay? We, like I said earlier, specialize in what's called brain-based therapy. So your brain requires two things to survive. Those are fuel and activation. So let's talk about fuel first. Fuel comes in the glucose that we eat. So you eat some food, your body breaks down the food into what's called glucose, and that's energy for your brain. So we have to make sure that you're on a good diet. There's certain things that people with chronic pain and fibromyalgia, they can't be on, or their body will be toxic and it will keep putting out this stress cycle. We'll talk about those in our office. The other part of fuel is oxygen. Your brain requires oxygen to survive. We use what's called oxygen concentrators, and that's this machine that's next to me. We have them all over our office. An oxygen concentrator puts out 90% oxygen into the patient. Now, if you compare that to the oxygen in the atmosphere that we breathe, it's only about 20%. So the treatment in our office, you're getting over 4 times the amount of fuel to the brain. And again, that's one of the ways that we use to make the brain function like it's supposed to. Activation is the other thing that the brain requires. Now, the way we use that, the way we do activation, is by what's called an activator. This is the activator here. It's a very low force, painless treatment. And what I do is I can adjust this tool down or up depending on the amount of intensity that I want to put into the patient. So I'll put this on different nerves throughout the spine, and as we activate it, it fires messages into the brain to make it start functioning like it's supposed to. The other thing that we use for activation is lasers, and here's a laser next to me. This is one of them that we use. It's painless, it's a painless treatment, but it stimulates the nerves to work at their maximum capacity. Lasers also decrease inflammation, and if you have inflammation or chronic pain, if you have fibromyalgia or chronic pain, you have inflammation all over the body. So this is amazing technology to help minimize the effects of inflammation as much as possible. We'll also do things like spinal decompression. Spinal decompression is an amazing technology that opens up the discs in the spine. So if a nerve becomes compressed through either a bulging or herniated or even a degenerative disc, it's going to shut off the signals going into the brain, which, like I said already, causes it to misfire. The midbrain overfires, produces all the symptoms of chronic pain and fibromyalgia. We'll also use nutritional supplementation. We don't use any of that stuff that you'll get from the store, retail brands. That stuff's no good, it's ineffective, it's not pure. We use the highest level of nutritional supplementation that you can get. These are neurotransmitters for the body. It stimulates the uptake of energy into the brain so that your brain can, again, your body can function like it's supposed to. So that's some of the different facets of brain-based therapy that we use to get people their life back. So just in closing, you don't have to live with the effects of fibromyalgia and chronic pain. You don't have to let it hold your life back anymore. As I said, I've treated thousands of people with chronic pain who now have a new lease on life. They're no longer depressed. They no longer have that loss of hope that I know that we go through as you experience the illness of fibromyalgia. So call my office, ask them if you can set up a free consultation, and we can find out if you're a good candidate for brain-based therapy and if we can get your life back. Thank you guys very much, and I really look forward to seeing you and helping you soon.